Bengals defeat the Browns 21-14. Cincinnati has won 3 of their last 4 games. They move to 3-4. Browns fall to 1-6. Biggest story coming out of this, of course, Deshaun Watson tears his Achilles.
Yep.
He was 15 of 17 for 128 at that point, and Achilles torn, season over. Pretty quick report that was the case. Other big story before the game was that Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the second-year player for the Browns, was listed as the backup over Jameis Winston for the first time all season.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that there was a tweet.
Suspect. It's all suspect, Sam.
It was a little weird. I saw there was a tweet from That's Good Sports that was like, Deshaun Watson is playing so badly that it got Jameis Winston demoted. And that, yeah, it was bizarre because people have obviously been clamoring for Jameis Winston to get the start over Deshaun Watson for weeks. That's been the discussion. That's been what's thrown at Stefanski every single week. And they head into this game and decide to go in a different direction at the backup spot at the exact game where Deshaun Watson's Achilles just snaps on him randomly on a drop back and he's done for the year. And then who knows how much longer beyond that. And yeah, the irony of that is he was actually playing okay in this game. And, you know, the Bengals housed the opening kickoff with Charlie Jones scoring. And they still had to grind out a win despite, you know, Cleveland losing their quarterback, despite everything. The Bengals just have this problem beating Cleveland. But yeah, the dynamic with it's such a strange situation now for Cleveland where this quarterback that has been the millstone around their neck despite being a $230 million guaranteed, the trade, everything we broke down on Wednesday's show last week, he's now out of the picture for an extended period of time with a torn Achilles. We've no idea what they're going to do. They have to make a change now, enforced. Is it Jameis Winston? Are they going to want to see what they have in Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Like, what are they going to do at that spot? And, you know, there's the whole dynamic of we had Kaylee Keller on the show, you know, weeks ago talking about insurance for quarterback contracts. The Browns have Deshaun Watson insured for quite a lot of that money. They're going to get some kind of cap relief because of this next year. So, in a way, it's a positive thing for them in that it forces them to make the move that people have been clamoring for anyway. They get cap relief next year because of the insurance. We get to actually see what this thing looks like with a different quarterback. There's a lot of positives to this, even though obviously Deshaun Watson is now Achilles-less.
Yeah, Jason from Over the Cap talking about the insurance, the reimbursement would depend on time. He's unable to play. Per source, the Browns only have up to $13.9 million of the 2024 compensation insured, and then almost his entire 2025 salary is insured. So if injury prevented him from playing next year, you know, that would get you cap relief again in the following year. Also, friend Greg Rosenthal theorized, is this the last snap we've ever seen from Deshaun Watson in the NFL? Because I think at this point, is it Browns or bust? Like, if the Browns don't want Deshaun Watson, is any other team going out of their way to bring him in? If they brought him in, it would probably be on the cheap because the Browns are on the hook for all the money. And if someone else wanted to bring Watson in, it would be a Russell Wilson-like, hey, the Browns are paying all the money, we're going to take a chance on Watson, but like,
well, then you've got like, who wants that headache?
Who wants the headache, and then who wants the football player the way he's played?
Yeah,
both of them.
But for a guy that has the resume of Deshaun Watson on the field, you know, there are teams that would want to kick the tires on that if eventually the Browns got rid of him.
Sure.
Independent of the off the field stuff. But now you're like,
yeah, and
okay,
then
kicking the tires necessitates opening that Pandora's box. Who wants any part of that? Nobody.
Yeah. And we've just seen from a Browns perspective, from a PR perspective, from an on-field perspective, one of the saddest things here is I don't know what Austin Gale's going to tweet about on Sunday nights now, because he'd been sending out the lowly Deshaun Watson stats. Just one more, Tyler, for the road, please. One more. Bear with us. Austin Gale, last night, 14 hours ago, says last one.
Last one.
This is it. I think he's moved on to the Raiders run game for depressing tweets. But right now,
as long as he still has some, milieu of
he's got
depressing tweets.
some kind of sadness that he could tweet through on Sunday night. But Deshaun Watson, it was like a tweet thread every week.
Yeah.
No quarterback with 200-plus dropbacks in weeks 1 through 7 since at least the year 2000. Y2K. Has a lower EPA per dropback average than Deshaun Watson.
He did it.
Not just a new Browns low, a new league low for weeks 1 through 7.
He did it. He set the record.
And then blew out his Achilles.
He ended up bottom.
Did the Browns call in the injury?
The hit, Haslam from the booth.
Did they tell Watson to fake it? Did they?
I mean, if they did a really good job of it because
did they snipe him?
He somehow managed to fake the telltale ripple of the calf.
He did
as
the ripple.
Achilles snapped. I would imagine that's a pretty hard thing to fake.
I'm just saying it was a weird. They announced DTR. They suggested
kind of
DTR might be coming in. If you didn't have the video of him actually blowing the Achilles, you might come up with a little conspiracy theory here.
It is the kind of thing that makes you believe that we're all in a simulation, that we're in the Matrix, et cetera. Like, there's no way this confluence of events could just organically happen, and yet here we are.
So that's probably it. Talking about Deshaun Watson on the show for the rest of the year. He's out. DTR came in, wasn't much better. Jameis does come in. Do you have some Jameis stats?
Well, he is tied with Deshaun Watson in touchdown passes over the last 3 weeks, and he came in with under 4 minutes to go in the game. He is tied in terms of third down conversions with Deshaun Watson over the last month.
That's insane.
And he came in with less than 4 minutes in the game. I don't really see an argument for going with anybody other than Jameis Winston as your quarterback if you're the Browns for the foreseeable.
I mean, the only argument is that they're trying to draft a quarterback high, and again, there's who the heck knows with this quarterback class if anybody's worth drafting. Sitting there at 1-6. If you're actually trying to win games, though, I would give it a run with Jameis Winston.
Yeah, and at this point, you're not just trying to win games; you're trying to rescue the morale of the locker room. This thing's in a bad state at this spot.
Nick Chubb did make his return, found the end zone, only 22 yards on 11 carries. Both run defenses were really good in this game. Offense was, tight for both teams. The Bengals returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and after that, they couldn't get much going offensively. So from Cincinnati's perspective, they moved to 3-4, clawing back into this thing in the AFC. Not too many people played well on the offensive side, but when they needed big plays, it was Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow to T. Higgins. Their stars made plays when they needed it, but very inconsistent performance by this Bengals offense. Again, struggling against this Browns defense here.
The Bengals at one point were 0 for 7 on third down. I think they ended up converting 1 or 2 late, but they couldn't keep drives going. They were crapping out. Yeah, you have to feel good about Nick Chubb. Not just playing, he looked pretty good. He got in the end zone and had to do it twice. Like, they negated his first touchdown. He had to go and score again. He didn't, look like Nick Chubb. Like, the production obviously was not particularly impressive, but just a great feel-good story to see that guy come back from his devastating knee injury and be a factor.
Yeah, that was great seeing Nick Chubb out there. So we had talked about, Cincinnati they're a couple plays away from having a much different season. Offense hasn't been as good the last couple weeks, but the defense has been better, right? We were wondering about that a couple weeks ago. You're in rough shape over there, huh?
Dude, I don't know what the hell has happened to me.
What you got? Oh, there we go. Just use the mute button if you can.
Yeah, the cough button?
Yeah, cough button is what I meant. Sorry. We just mute Sam every time he goes to blow his nose. Cincinnati's defense playing better the last couple weeks, but again, against Daniel Jones and the Giants and against Deshaun Watson and DTR of the Browns. But, Cincinnati stays in it, and stars played like stars when they needed to. The 2 touchdowns by Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Yeah, they haven't looked impressive, but they're at least getting wins, which is just keeping them alive. They didn't have any margin for error anymore, given the situation they put themselves in. They still don't really, and they're going to need to be better if they're going to beat the big teams and go on a run and, shock anybody this season. They haven't got there yet, but at least they're getting wins while they tread water and try and find that spark. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.